Hey everyone, welcome to chapter 11, The Matchmaker. Now, this chapter's about how to manifest stuff, basically, but the way that I've explained it is in a way that your attention and your visualization and your imagination can come to an understanding of it, probably through what we've already got around us. Okay, I talk about the universal store and then the universal matchmaker. The way that I like to look at it is it's like Amazon. You know, when you put an order into Amazon, and also the matchmaker is sort of like the universal Tinder. Okay, I have got five-step process here as well. I'm just going to quickly go through that, and you'll see that in the book as well too. This is based on the law of attraction. This is based on Esther and Abraham Hicks's work. It is not my work, but I've been able to speak to it in a way that it helps me understand it and visualize it, and hopefully it puts it into some words where you can then understand it as well too. This is something that happens to us each and every day. Okay, so this isn't, okay, I'm going to now start manifesting stuff. You know, we've spoken about the librarian, and we've spoken about that you are consciousness, having a human experience, that you're connected to everything. This is actually how the fabric of reality works, and we can look at it from a quantum physics perspective. This is through, I guess, an analogy and word imagery and metaphor perspective. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into it. Hopefully you've already read the chapter and you've seen and read what I'm about to say. If you haven't read the chapter and this is the first thing that you're looking at, it'll give you a sort of an overview of where we're going. Okay, so it's a five-step process, and this five-step process is constantly happening. Okay, it's sort of like the grief and loss process. You know, there's 5 steps to grief and loss, but it doesn't mean that you're going to go through denial and then bargaining and it's this sequential order. They can flip, you know, to and from depending on different roles that you have in grief and loss. The same thing with manifesting is that these are happening constantly all of the time. So step 1 might be happening and step 5 might be happening for something else. Okay, step 3 could be happening also for something too. So probably the best analogy of looking at it is that if you're going to go online shopping to buy some stuff, say it's for Christmas, you've got all different people that you're buying for. You don't go on there and just buy everything at one time. Some of you might, okay, but even in saying that, not everything's going to be delivered at the one time as well. So for each person, you might go to a different store. For each person, you might have a different request. Each one of those requests, it might take a different amount of time for it to be made, and for each one of those requests, it might take a different time frame for it to be delivered. Okay, so the 5-step process is happening all of the time for all of the different things that you want to see and want to experience within your life. Now, in saying that, you're probably not aware of what you're manifesting because you're not consciously aware of it. Through the process of reading the book, having a conscious understanding of how the mind works, you will become more consciously aware of what you're doing, but then you'll also become more consciously aware of what you weren't aware of what you're doing. Hopefully that makes sense as well. So let's go through the 5-step process. A little bit more detail in the book, but then you'll have a look at it. Hopefully this will then make sense if you've read the book a bit more too. So step 1, and you know, as we're saying, step 1, well, it's happening constantly, it's perpetual, but we needed to start somewhere in the way that we explained it. So contrast. Contrast allows us to see what we don't want in our lives, which creates focus and attention on what we would like to invite into our days. When you become consciously aware of what contrast is, that's how you can use it. Now, if you're not consciously aware of it, contrast allows you to have these experiences you don't want to have. And then you get caught up in what you don't want, and you continually tell people what you don't want, and you activate in your mind what you don't want. And see how that you are then the frequency of what you don't want. So life can only give to you that which you already are. So then you get more and more of what you don't want. And then, which consolidates the view of, well, life isn't supporting me, life isn't there for me, others aren't there for me, you know, what's the use, that sort of thing. In this perspective and through the work that we've been doing is to become aware that contrast allows you to see what you don't want. Well, I don't want to see this in my life. Okay, thank you, contrast. What would I like to see in my life? And that's where you then start to ask the questions. And that's where we then start to we can use contrast as being purposeful. And I think I say that the pain can become purposeful. Contrasting experiences can have value when we see them in what they are indicating. Okay? So that's really the first thing. We can just move into a state of going, this is what I want. I don't have to see the contrast, but I can use the contrast to see what it is that I don't want, to then see what I do want. Now remember too, going back to how can I be grateful for discomfort, grateful for stress, I can be grateful for contrast because of the gift, the opportunity, what it's showing me that I can learn. See how we're using those concepts in that one. Step 2 is identify the emotional state of the desire. So what is that I do want? What's the emotional state of it? Use the segment intending exercise to visualize and experience the desire via the emotional activation of it. So through this segment intending experience, we're going, this is what I do want. This is the emotional state that's associated to. The frequency of the emotional state has such potency. Okay, and that's how life is listening to you, because life can only really give you an experience based upon the frequency that you're activating. The frequency that you're activating is based upon the emotional state that it activates. So the universe listens and speaks through frequency. Frequency is activated at a higher rate through emotions. Thoughts will activate emotions, but it's the emotions that really have that sense of feeling and that frequency. Life can only give to you that which I am. So you are your frequency, you are what your frequency is, your most prominent and dominant thoughts and emotions that you're activating throughout your days. Stay focused with your emotional invitations. I like that one. Step 3. So contrast lets me see what I don't want, so I can see what I do want. I then tap into the emotional state of what I do want. All right. I practice my segment intending. I'm vibrating at that frequency. This is the emotional state that I am. Life can then go, okay, cool. This is who Maurice is. We can give him more of what he is. So step 3 is your order has been received and is being handcrafted by life. The order is placed. The universal store is searching for the perfect circumstances to deliver it to you via the app of the universal matchmaker. So this is where I said, in a sense, it's Amazon. So when I see what I don't want to see what I do want, I'm already putting in that order, okay? As you put in the order, you're also putting in specifics around it through the emotional state that you have. Universal Amazon or the universal store has got the order, and it's getting handcrafted because it's for you, it's specific for you, all right? It's like a handcrafted experience for you. It then is trying to work out, okay, we've got this, we've got it and we're creating it. How can we best deliver it to you? Because each one of your experiences is unique to you. So it's not something that's taken off the shelf and then sent to you. It's something that is unique to your pattern, your frequency. But it needs to be delivered to you. And this is where the universal matchmaker, or the old one, universal Tinder, is trying to find who is the best match to deliver this to you. Because sometimes the experiences that we have, they come out of the blue and we don't necessarily know that they were going to happen. We can't plan for that because the variables are just infinite. Whereas the universe has an infinite number of resources that it can pull upon. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to put all of those resources into one experience for you to then have. That's where we need to be patient, okay? That's where I say patience is the key in this step. Also notice other ordering opportunities via the contrasting experiences placed upon your path. So see, this is coming back to that. I'm constantly placing orders each and every day through my activating thoughts and emotions. What am I most prominent and dominant at? So now step 4 is that your order's actually made, ready for dispatch. However, you need to be at the correct address. Okay, so in step 3, the order is there, it's getting made, but the store is also trying to work out, well, who's the best courier to bring it to you, to deliver it to you. In step 4, it's more so, well, you need to be at the address for that to be delivered to you. Because if you sent them the wrong address, then you're not going to be there. And the delivery will arrive and no one's there to receive it. So it then gets sent back. Okay, it was like I dropped around a book the other day to an address, and when the book had been ordered, the person was at that address. Now the person was no longer at that address, but it was lucky that the person across the road, or the people who had moved in there, knew a person across the road, and then that person then got the book. So it came to them in a roundabout way, but they weren't at that address. So your order is made, ready for dispatch, however you need to be at the correct address. Now the correct address is your frequency. So when you place the order, if you're in that space of, being, in conviction and courage and fortitude and strength, but yet you're no longer there anymore, now you're in self-doubt and, lack of self-worth and really questioning life, you're at a different address. So you could be missing out on a lot of experiences that you've been ordering or wanting to have by not being there, because you've been at the wrong emotional frequency. So a lot of stuff is being delivered to you, but it's just not getting to you. So this is the art of receivership. You need to believe that you are deserving of what you have asked for. Your beliefs need to be equal to your desires. Art of receivership. And a lot of people, they ask for things, but are they truly believing that they're worthy of receiving? That's a big question. So step 5, the universal store has your order ready and it's just about to be sent. You will receive confirmation emails via contrasting experiences to see if this is still what you want and you've ordered. These contrasting moments are opportunities to see what your old belief systems are regarding self and your worthiness to receive. This is the final step upon the receiving of your order and your desires. So it's sort of a little bit like temptation, when you're learning a new skill or you're moving from one behavior pattern to another, you're sort of like given that test at the end. You're going, are you sure you want to go there? Are you sure you want to let go of this old belief? Are you sure you want to leave this stuff behind? And this is, in a sense, confirmation emails. So temptation isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just the universe, life, the mind going, hey, we've got this old pattern of thought. Are you sure you want it? Or here's this new pattern of thought. Are you sure you want it? So that's the step 5. Now remember too that all of this 1 to 5 is continually happening at different stages in relation to different relationships, different roles, different contrasting experiences, different desires and different expectations. Okay? So I hope that's helped with the understanding of chapter 11. Okay? And I will have a link of that so you can then print that one out as well. All right, cool. Enjoy. Hope you're enjoying the book. We'll see you in chapter 12. 1 to go. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.